welcome to Crafting from the Broom Closet. My name is Hen, and today we are going to be making a book cover, a journal book cover, letter J journal cover, part of the ABC April 2025 collaboration. I've never made a junk journal before, but I have made a couple of books, and this is one of them. So this is a book I made, which I think is pretty cool. It is a grimoire. I should have put some more pages in this. I've left way too much room, as you can see, and it because that it's gone a bit bowed, unfortunately. But if you fill that out, you can see it's quite a firm cover. And this was made with junk. So what I have made this one from is a sausage roll box, as you can see. That is the side. Oh, let's turn it that way. That is the side of the sausage roll box. And I just cut it down, cut off this flap here and cut off the flaps there. And I covered it with PVA and tissue paper. And then I've put some luster dust type stuff on there. This was made with a glue gun. But the original one I made, I actually rolled up tissue paper to form the figure. It was much bigger than this, but I no longer possess it, which is a good thing. So yeah, so I have made book covers before. And you can use pretty much any packaging. So you could get yourself a cereal box like this. Obviously, if you was to do the method I use, where I just cut off the flaps and use this as a spine, that would be a very wide spine. But what you could do is cut out your panels and the spine separately. And as you're covering it, you leave a slight gap in between your spine and your cover, and you create the spine. But today, I've had quite a few deliveries of Amazon lately, and I'm very thankful for them. So I've got a choice of a couple of different Amazon packaging. I do know that I want my page to be A5, so that's printer paper folded in half. I know that's what I want the size of my pages to be. Doesn't like the white. So that's what I want the size of the page to be. Now, if I use this one, the spine is already built in there. I think I need to lift you up a bit. Let's lift you up a bit, because you're not seeing much, are you? There we go. Okay, cool. That's a little bit better. So the spine is already there, and I would just have to trim round. Or I could use this one, which is a flat packaging, but I could make the spine. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I'm thinking of this one, because I do want quite a chunkier book, and I think that's quite a nice width for a spine. So that's what I'm probably going to use. In fact, let's make the decision. That is what I'm going to use. But this one could be used as well. This one is quite a nice thick cardboard. But this one is even thicker. The only problem with this one is it is the corrugated style cardboard. And there is a join here, which hopefully once it's covered we won't see, because I'm going to have to keep that join in place. But I do quite like the thick one. When I use this one, it is quite stiff. But like I said, where I haven't put enough paper in, it has curved. That I would have preferred it didn't do that. It has been moved around a lot because I've taken it to craft fairs. So that's why it's probably got bowed like that. So when you are doing your if you're using food packaging, this is stiff because I've used the papier mâché. But if you're doing it without papier mâché, you might want to double up your layers. So when you're cutting out your cardboard, you might want to do 2 and glue them together. Because this is quite thin card, as you can see. Well, as I said, today we're going to use this one. And as I said, I already know that I want this to be the size of my pages. And I'm going to use the spine that is already there. So, I want it to be slightly bigger all the way around. And if you look, I think this line that's already here would be a good mark to cut down for the width. Obviously on the other side, if I cut that there, I'm going to have to trim it down, because that's just going to cut off this bit here. But that's fine, because we can trim it down. So I'm going to start off by cutting off this part. I could use scissors, but as we already know, I'm not very good at drawing cutting straight lines with scissors. So I am going to use my ruler and craft knife. This mat, by the way, it's quite a small one, but it does the job. And it was not expensive. It was from Home Bargains. So if you live in the UK, Home Bargains, and it came with a craft knife. Not this one. It came with a silver one, a nice one, and I think it was less than £3. I am planning on investing in a slightly bigger one. Quite a bit bigger one, for when I set up my actual craft space, again from Home Bargains. And I think for the mat itself, which is at least 4 times the size of this mat, is a less than maybe £4, I think. I can't remember, but that's what I plan on getting. So materials don't have to be expensive. This knife came from a pack, and I think you got 3 for £1. So basic materials don't have to be expensive. Okay. But I am trying to do this without a budget. So if you haven't got a craft mat, you could place something that's going to protect your table underneath it. A cutting board from your kitchen. Something like that. And a craft knife. Or use scissors. Hopefully you're better at cutting straight lines than I am. So I'm following the line here that's already built in. As you can see it there. And I'm going to cut down that. I could do with a longer ruler and a longer craft mat for this. So I'm definitely through that first layer anyway. So. You can hear a rattling noise. That's because my table is wobbling and it has my teacup on it. That's the rattling noise you can hear. I have to apologise, actually, for the lack of videos over the last couple of days. I don't actually need to cut that one down yet, because that's not going to be the right size, is it? So, once we get that in, the size we want is going to be out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to measure from that spine to the edge, and it's 6 1/8 of an inch, I believe. What's that in centimetres? 15.5 centimetres. So that's what we need to measure on the other side. So from the spine, which is there, and we're going 15.5 centimetres. And one thing I didn't get out was a pen or pencil. Here's one. Okay, so I'm going to measure from that spine, hold that spine up there, like so, and we're going to 15.5 centimetres. Measure it a couple of places along the spine, 15.5 centimetres. Then we can join that up, and we have our line to cut down. Let's put that straight, there we go. So yes, as I was saying, I apologise for the lack of videos in the last couple of days. I've had a bit of a brain fog. I said I was ill, and you know, it was more of a brain fog than an actual illness. I am good. Just some personal stuff, a bit of a roller coaster ride, emotional wise, that just fried my brain a bit, and just meant that, you know, I wasn't feeling up to creating videos. So although I wasn't actually ill, I was just not feeling well enough to make videos. Turns out, you know, the cause of the brain fog was a good thing. And I'm actually in a very good place at the moment. I'm very happy. So, but I just needed to resolve some faults in my head. That really doesn't look like it's gone straight. Anyway, let's have a look. So, I need to also cut it down to the right height. And I'm going to go straight up to the edge here. And we're just going to measure there. And like I said, I want to leave a little bit all the way around. I want my cover to be slightly bigger than my actual book. So, where's me? Let's just use this as a guide. So let's get that up to the spine. Yep. I'm going to do it. I'm holding that right up to the top because I want it to be level. But I do know I want it to come down probably to about here. So that this is roughly the same. So we're having, obviously I've gone right, oh, I haven't gone right up there. See, right up there and up to the spine. That's the width that I want as the border. So I want to do roughly 2 times that at the bottom here. So I would say about here. Place my mat underneath properly. So let's have a look again. Hold that up there. Using your paper as a guide, you can see roughly where you want to cut it. So I'm going to say, like I said, about here. Remember, I've got the straight spine there, so I can hold this up against that to give myself a straight edge, a straight line. Hopefully. There we go. A little bit lower. Yeah, about there. Cool. Right. I'm doing this the wrong way now because I'm going side to side, and then much better going up and down. And that just moved. I'll turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. So yeah, that looks quite good. The amount of space either side of that. I'm cutting into the spine now, as you can see. So that is the spine there. Oh. Keep it up against your ruler. Do not move your ruler, or do not move your knife away from the ruler. There we go. So that is that cut off there. Now I need to do it along the same way. So let's cut off the flap for starters. We don't need that flap. Get rid of that. Line it up with the one we have here, and then cut off that flap. You've got these lines here which are a really good guideline to help you keep it straight. And because we're cutting it slightly bigger, if we don't cut it exactly straight, we can we can trim a little bit off to straighten it up. I don't need that there, so I'm going to get rid of that. You know, I said I was crafting in a very small space. I think I'm proving it by things getting caught. So let's follow that line again. That looks like it's straight up with that line. Hopefully, we'll see. But let's guide into that, into the spine there. That'll help us straighten it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so what should have come in the last couple of days was hidden paper clips, and I was also going to be doing obviously cut through there when I cut it, but I think that's, yeah, so that line I accidentally cut through, but that line does seem to be in the right place. So I'm going to carry on down that line. Yeah, hidden paper clips and interactive elements. And although I haven't made a video of them, I do plan on still including them in the journal once it's completed. So I will make some when we're putting everything together to show you what they are. So after the alphabet is done and dusted, I will make the hidden paper clips and the interactive elements, because I do want to use them in this journal. So there you go. So that is the base you cover. So you have your back, your front, and your spine. Okay. Is it perfect? No. But that's the fun about handcrafting. So I have, like I said, I have got this joint overlap here, and I could take this sticker off, but I actually think that's giving it a bit more stability holding it on there. And we're going to be covering it anyway. You won't see it. So I said I was going to use some of the faux fabric paper to cover the book, and I am going to use the purple one, the wallpaper, which I really love. I do love this paper, but I'm going to use it like a book jacket, which will give me extra pockets, and that's what I'm going to use it for. So to start off with, we are just going to get some pages out of me trusty books. So the Jane Austen, you remember the one that got ruined and wet, and me two Gentlemen of Verona, which, as I said, the pages are falling apart like so. But I also picked up this book, one of these free library books. You know, you get them around, and it's slightly out of date. So it was withdrawn from the University of Bristol in 2012. But you can tell that it wasn't really booked out very often, because it only has 2 stamps in the back. And one of them is the 25th of September, 1958. And the other one is the 12th of November. Oh, that was when it was due back. And at some point it was returned in 1966. So I think that one's a bit late, but going back. But yeah, so, but it's got this lovely, you can tell it's old. It's got this lovely patina on the edges there. And I may use some of the pages within a journal itself, the actual full pages. Yes, I would be able to do that. I'm just looking at how this is made. So if you look, the spine is loose and it's bound here. but it does look like it's got signatures. So if you find the centre of a signature, which is what this is, and we'll learn about signatures in the future, but if you find it is, looks like it's, oh, hang on, there's the centre. Yes, it's been stitched in. This is something we will learn about along the way. That's how these ones were attached. They are middle. These are the signatures, by the way. So I have 2 signatures in here. I probably should have put at least 4, maybe 5 in here. I didn't put enough signatures in. But if I go to the centre of my signature, it's stitched in. And then you see the stitch on the back, because I haven't, unlike this one, I haven't done the signature to the spine here. But today, because we're making a book jacket out of the faux fabric, you won't see how the signatures are attached to the actual final journal. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few pages out of these books. I'm going to tear them up and I'm going to cover the book. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that the paper goes over the edge to give us a nice edge. Normally what you would do is you would take a big sheet, you'd cover it, you'd do mitered corners, which neatens up your corners, and then you'd put another panel over the front. But I want to just cover it with book pages, bits of book pages, because you're not really going to see much of it anyway, because it's going to be covered with the book jacket. So let's start tearing out pages and gluing them. I think I'm going to start off with one big page in the middle, and then collage over the top of that. So we start off with one big page in the middle, and I'll do this on all 4 sides of the book and the spine. The spine obviously won't need the big page in the middle. Just because this gets more covered in one go, we'll start off with one big page. Introduction. I'm not worried about the glue getting everywhere, because, you know, the whole thing's going to get glued. And we are just using your glue stick. Make sure you get to the edges. You want the whole thing covered. If you get one of them glue sticks that like is purple or green or red or yellow, it helps you see where you've put the glue. But I can just about see the shiny, and occasionally I might miss a tiny bit. But you know, that's good. So let's stick that one down. Roughly in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle. But I just want it to cover the mass. But we're going to be collaging over that, so you won't actually see most of this page. I'm going to take some pages out of the Jane Austen. Just a couple of pages for now. And we're just tearing off pieces. I quite like the patina on this, so I'm actually going to leave some of the square edges. But we're just tearing off pieces, like so. That'll do for, you know, I don't even have to tear them any more, less than that. But like I said, I want to overlap them so they go over the other side. So, which means I want to glue a book page on this side too. And again, that's going to come out of the Two Gentlemen of Verona. I apologise, my throat is a bit croaky today. Like I said, I've had a bit of an emotional roller coaster of a couple of days. But they have... I am in a very good place, and that's good. It's not... I haven't been in a good place for a while. Part of the reason I've started back on crafting is to try and distract myself from some negative thoughts and do something I enjoy. So crafting is very therapeutic, But for years I have been avoiding doing anything I enjoy because I've just not been in a good place. But I am now. So, like I said, I hope you enjoy coming on this journey with me because this is new to me. There you go. So that's stuck down. So what we want to do is make sure these go over the edge because we want to give this a nice edge. Because that is not a nice edge. So that's what we're going to do. Start off with the front and we'll work round to the back. And I need to put the glue stick where I can find it. Not let it roll away. Go to the edge. And like I said, don't worry too much about getting glue on things because we're going to be sticking over the top of it anyway. So let's start there. I want that to go all the way up to the corner there. And fold it over to the back. If it's not sticking properly, that's because you haven't put enough glue on. Just add some more glue and stick it down. We'll just keep working our way around. I'm going to get some pages out of this book as well. This is a cool book, so you've got lots of right way up, lots of equations and stuff in it and diagrams. I'm going to avoid using the pages with the diagrams on because it's not really right for this particular journal, but it may be right for other journals. So let's find a page that is not really got any diagrams or loads of numbers on, she says. There you go. We'll do that one. In fact, let's find, because that doesn't want to tear out easily, so let's find the centre of this, see that's all, of this signature. Okay, there. No. Let's find the centre of a signature. Any signature. So that's a signature in there, look. We find the centre. And it's there, but I don't want to use that page because that is cool graphs. I'm going to use that elsewhere. So I find just another signature. You'll see how the signatures are made. There's a signature there. And I think I'm almost in the centre with this one. Yep, so there's the centre, there's your stitching. Again, too many lovely bits in here, isn't there? Let's try that signature. Let's see if I can find, oh, centre of that signature. There we go. We'll take that page. And just tear it out like that. Go on. Like I said, because you can tear out pages like that, if I turn it more gently, that could actually... that could actually become a page in a journal if I'd been a bit more gentle. It is a little bit brittle, so you might want to put some tape there to reinforce it, but because that could be a page in a journal. I don't think, I'm not sure if this one has signatures. I don't think it has. Oh, I lied. Yes, there is the centre of a signature. Look. Oh, is it? No, it's not. That's where I've tore out a page. Looks like a centre of a signature. But yes, I'm not sure if this one has signatures. I can't quite tell. Probably does. This one certainly doesn't have them because you can tell by the way the pages are falling out. They just glued him. See? They just glued him. They're individual pages, there's no fold. No. Anyway, carry on cutting. So we'll tear some of this off. You just want them random shapes. If you are into inking, you might want to ink your edges, which defines them better. I'm not doing that because, like I said, we're trying to keep this as simple as possible. Not everyone will have ink. I don't actually have ink. I do, but not the ink that most people would use for inking. I bought some cheap ink from Temu, which is lovely colours, but not really what you want for this project. So make sure you get the glue all over, especially around the edges. If something isn't stuck, just lift it up and stick it back down again. So here we go. Let's put that there like so. Oop. Make sure you don't crease it. Push it down, rub it down, however you want. Another bit of Jane Austen. So look at that lovely yellow. I do like that. That's very pretty. I'm going to pop that there, and when I do the corner, I'm going to show you how to do some tidy corners. So, glue. Doesn't really matter which way. So I'm going to need to put patches over here anyway. Right. So I'm going to put that across like that. I'm going to fold it over and over, and I'm going to mitre that corner. I think I'm just going to do a little thing like this. So I'll pop that over and I'll show you how to mitre a corner. Do I want that one? Yeah, doesn't really matter. I'll put it like that. So we'll put that on like that, and I'll show you how to mitre the corner on the other side. Okay, so how to mitre the corner. So what we want to do is make this corner nice and neat. So what we do is we cut like that, not going quite to the edge there. Okay, this is a bit sticky, so I'm doing like an angle, but we're just going slightly in, just not quite to the corner, and then back out like that. And then when you fold it in, you get a lovely neat corner like that. That needs a bit more glue. So obviously, because I've mitered the corner now there, I'm not going to want a collage over that edge again. So that's all you have to remember once you miter the corners. I'm going to leave the miter in the corners till the end, and just carry on collaging for now. Okay. And I want to cover the whole book. I'm going to go over to the spine here, because I do want the spine covered as well. So, but remember, I do want it to fold over all the outside edges to give us that nice neat edge. I'll put that there. That's cool. And just keep building it up, building it up. Yeah, okay. Like I said, you won't actually see much of that big sheet in the middle by the time you're finished. I think I want to do that way. Put that one over the edge. Cool. Didn't do very good with the glue on that one, did I? Okay. I'm putting all the same sort of paper on. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have that little corner go over the edge there because I quite like this yellowing. Put that like that. You're just building it up as you go along. And it's nice to have different shades of paper. These ones I'm sticking on are very similar in colour, to be fair. They're all pretty similar in colour. Yep, going to stick that one down there. As you can see, that has gone. In fact, why don't I open it out? You can see that has gone down the over the edge. And I will, as I open it out, I do need to put a page in the middle. It really doesn't matter if it goes over the edges on this because we are going to be gluing over the top anyway. There we go. There we go. Got that one there. Let's do a page in the middle on this one here as well. So yeah, as I said, I will do the, didn't do that straight, doesn't matter. Does not matter. I will do the hidden paper clips and the interactive elements, which were supposed to be the H and I of this alphabet. We are now on the J for journal cover, or junk journal cover. But yeah, so I will do them at the end of this project. So they will happen, just not today. I want to do the folded corner there, so I'm going to use this, but obviously that's way too big. So I'm going to do that. And I'm not going to fold it over yet. I'm just going to glue this down for now on this side. That way around. Right there. Make sure I've glued everywhere I need to glue. There we go. Don't want any neat edges. Let's break that. Let's pop that there. Oh, she says. Is that top down? No, didn't think it was. There we go. And that one there, and then it gets folded over at the bottom. Remember? Right. I don't know why I'm gluing on the wrong part. Glue, put the glue on the paper, not the actual cover. Come on, woman. So, oh, too far up. I've not left myself an overlap there. There we go. Nice overlap. Doesn't have to be a massive overlap, as long as you're overlapping the edges. I am running out of paper that I've already torn out. So let's get some more. A couple of pages from Emily. Oh, sorry, Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. And a couple of pages from this one. Let me just tear. Oh, tear. I'm just going to tear bits off. Doesn't matter what shape they are. Tear them in advance like so. Okay. Obviously these are a joint at the edge there, because they're from the don't have to be too precious about the shape, see? So that's that one. Do the same with the Jane Austen. There we go. let's just start sticking. Get it all down. Do want my straight corners for the corners though. Don't need that here because this is not a straight corner, so just need it for this corner here and this corner here. So why don't I find them 2 straight corners for now? That one there. And that one there. Perfect. And then everything else just can be random. I've lost my glue stick. It's gonna roll about. Let me just pause while I find that. Well, it was right on my lap the whole time. Right, so let's glue the corners down, and we'll do the neat folding on the other side once we've covered the whole of this front. That one. And I'm gonna fast forward this so you can just see the result afterwards. edges are covered. Are they perfect? No. Oh, that needs a bit of glue there. And that needs some glue there. So and there. So I'm gonna let it dry folded like this, and while that's doing that, just going around and make sure that everything's stuck down. If you find anything loose, stick it back down. So while that is drying, we can work on the book sleeve, but I do need to make sure that I have got it the right size. So let's get the faux fabric. I'm going to use this crease as my crease, just so I'm not doing it twice. So we're going up there, up there, up, more than big enough, plenty of paper. So what I want to do, okay, let's lie it down flat a minute. So if I'm using that as my crease there, okay. We do know that we want the paper to just be slightly bigger than this. So if I get my pencil, use that crease there as my crease, there we go. Get my pencil and just lightly line there, on the corners like so, on the corners like so. This doesn't have to be perfect, because, you know, so I've given my, I can't see what I've drawn. Oh yes I can. I've given my let me define that corner better. This will rub out, but you won't even see it. So I've drawn around. I want to give myself a slight edge. I want to leave flaps either side here. So really I'm only cutting along these lines for now. And I am going to use the scissors. Let me fold it in half because I can see from there. I want to make it slightly wider than the actual book. Let's pop that back there and let it dry off, folded like that. Oh, let me use the book to weigh it down. Okay, because I need the scissors that I was using to weigh it down. So I want it slightly bigger than the lines I've just drawn, not drew. And I'm gonna, this isn't straight, but hey, you know, told you I can't cut straight lines. That's the line there, so I'm going to slightly bigger than that as well. And the reason it's got to be slightly bigger is because when we wrap it around the cover, we want it, well that really isn't straight, is it? Look how crooked that line is. That one's not so bad, it's this side. Let's try and straighten that out a bit, shall I? Move that out of the way, can't see what I'm doing. I think that's made it even worse, but never mind. Okay, so when I fit the cover, I want to have flaps that go like this and like this, like a normal book cover has. But what we're going to do is we're going to attach them at the top and bottom to each other, so that they stay on. And I'm going to use the glue for now, but what I'm probably going to end up doing is stitching it. So we know that's where the spine's going. This is still sticky, but we know that's where the spine's going. So where would the other fold be? It would be there. So let me just pinch that for a minute to make a spine, which means I've got that much overlap there, which is, you know, more than enough. And then if I do this side, that's too much, so I need to trim some of this off. I'm going to take it back to about here. Okay, let's cut along that line ish, that line ish. Let me just pop that back in there a minute, because I need to know that's the right crease for there. Where is the crease for over here? Voila. Oh, okay. Let's make that crease. Okay, so that, when we put the book together, it will be a cover like that. But I just think it's something different. So I can see that corner. I can see that corner. So I just want a bit of glue along the edges, where the fold is. So glue on the other side of here and glue on the other side of here, which I've just put down. Like I said, I'm probably going to put some stitches in. They just don't have to be anything special, the stitches, because this glue is not going to hold. It's not the greatest glue. It's placing it there for me for now. That is my other crease, so glue on the other side of here and here. Okay, so just along the edge. Don't go too far in, because otherwise your book won't fit into it. And as you can see, none of the lines are straight, but that really doesn't matter, because what you want is, as the book gets used, that these just start ruffling around the edges and just look a bit worn. That's the plan anyway. So let me just check, see if that fits. So we pop that in there. There's a little bit that needs sticking down there. Is that going to fit? Very tightly fit, but yeah, that fits. And then let's just check if it fits the other side. And the reason I'm taking it back out at the moment is because once I stitch it, it will be much easier to flex this, and once this is fully dry, it'll be much easier to flex it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get a bit of embroidery thread, and I'm going to stitch along, stitch along, stitch along, stitch along. So it's going to take me half an hour to thread a needle, so I'm going to pop you on pause while I do that. There you go. So I've got my thread and my needle, and I'm just going to do a simple back stitch. I'm not going to go right up to the edge, because I don't want to be too close to the paper, and I'm going to come in slightly from this edge as well. So I'm just going to do a simple back stitch, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because again, we are crafting. Oh, that's, oh, wow. She says she's going to do simple back stitch. Can't even get it through the paper. So I put a knot there. It's not perfect, but it will do. You could just do a running stitch, but I think a back stitch just will give you a little bit more stability. Hopefully I'm not doing this too far away from the edge. Where's my cover gone? I don't want it. I need to make sure it still sits in. Yes, that's fine. Do you want to make sure that you've got enough room that your cover will slide in, so leave a little bit either side. Okay, just a simple back stitch. Like so. You see, I'm making a mess of it, but it will look fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's handcrafted. You know, I should have been doing the stitching from the other side so I could see what the outside was going to look like. And there we go. I've just somehow got my needle back off and lost my thread. It's tangling up. So I'm going to go back on pause. I'm going to finish this off and show you the results. Okay? Okay, while I was sewing, my battery ran out. So there it is. I've stitched around. Is it perfect stitching? No, but I quite like that rustic look. And I've popped the cover in there. I may put some PVA glue over this to protect it, but I don't think so. But I've got, as you can see, I've got a nice pocket there, a acrylic there, and it will pop back out. It pops out like an actual book cover or protective sleeve. I'm going to leave it out for now because once we get around to binding our pages, I'm going to need this out because we'll bind the pages and the binding will be hidden behind the book cover. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is the letter K, and I am planning on doing knots, but a knot of a special kind. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye-bye.